Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Movers Green Job Pioneers program, where we are interviewing a lot of amazing change makers are working on climate change. And what is so special about this program is that we hope to bring you some inspiration, some ideas that working on climate change and environment issues, etc., doesn't always only need to rely on passions. We also want to, through these interviews, give you some inspirations as some people are working on it on daily basis and hope to give you some ideas for your career explorations. So today with me, I have my amazing colleague here in the UNDP. I'm going to invite her to introduce herself to you. So, hi, Yaqi.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Linka. My name is Yaqi. I work with UNDP Youth Collab in Bangkok Regional Hub as a Youth Startup Support Coordinator. Before I joined UNDP, I actually when I was in uni, I was studying Chinese language and literature, which is totally unrelated to what I'm doing right now. And but for the activity part, I had a background on youth engagement, on youth empowerment side. So I actually started my career as a teacher, and I teach a lot of students in China Chinese. Started teaching when I was in uni. It was an internship, so I went to one of the poorest area in China to teach primary school students. And I think I was very excited because I feel like it's one of the most poor area in China, and kids must need help there. So I feel very excited to be part of the few interns to go there in the field to teach students, and then after that, there's some part of the journey that I don't like, which I will talk about later. And I also engaged with a few initiatives, project in the private education sector as well. And I did a bit of exploration I don't like as well. And which I think the other part is that I spend a lot of time volunteering, and all the activity I done is actually related to youth empowerment, related to UN's SDGs, related to entrepreneurship. And I feel a lot of joy just by contributing to the activities and also bring youth together. So that's how I finally find my passion when I realize I can actually contribute to something new. And so I started with engage with young people by organizing different events, by organize different programs. And even before my graduation, I already started supporting a regional youth program on SDGs. And I really appreciate the opportunity at that time because we really get a chance to go to the field, actually do a lot of research to understand people in different countries, how they live, how they face the local challenges there. So I remember at that time I went to north of Thailand to understand the stateless people there, what's their life look like in the local community. And also we went to San Fernando, Philippines to live with the local people there to understand their challenges in agriculture and income generation. And also we went to Korea to live with local people to understand multiculturalism and what's local people's reaction to cultural diversity. So it was a very interesting experience for us to be on the ground to observe the local issues, different local issues that we can solve, actually align with the SDG goals. So that basically my journey before UNDP, and yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Yaqi, for drawing a very, very comprehensive life map of you. You study Chinese literature. Basically, it's about teaching Chinese to Chinese students. And then you went to a very, very remote village. And then through volunteering that you explore different opportunities, engagement. You went to different countries, really opened up your horizon and see what's going on in the world, and exploring yourself, I'm sure, throughout this process as well. So yeah, I think my first question, follow-up question to you is that have you ever, at that point, when you are studying in university, did you ever, imagine at one point in your future that you are working on what you are working right now?
I think my answer will say no, because at that time actually very lost. But the big motivation for me is that I want to do something that actually help people. And the reason why I give up teaching, because I realize it's never about the knowledge you're teaching. It's also about the people, the learning experience that you build through interacting with people. And I realize you cannot actually, if you live in the classroom, teaching a basic like a topic to the students, and then you ask them to do the homework, and then you review the homework, and then you teach them why you did the homework wrong or right. I think the repetitive process actually does not involve a lot on building connection with people in the traditional education system. And the way in the beginning of my journey, how I manifest I want to help people is because I want to help students, and I realize it's quite limited to to achieve what I want to achieve in the classroom, and then I keep looking, keep exploring, and I gain a lot of insights and also inspiration from building a youth network in the local city in my area. We did a lot of SDG advocate, a lot of youth forum just to bring people together, and also in different programs that I was involved in before. It's always about building connection, get young people together to talk about the issue they're facing, to be practical, to be, they have this huge passion. They can solve problems, so they will come up with a lot of amazing ideas, and they work together. The team building, the teamwork actually give them a lot of inspiration, saying they are part of something and they actually can do something regardless of background, their knowledge. And I think that part of learning process is especially inspiring, and also the connection, the people they met inspire a lot in after the program or in the later part of their journey. So I think one thing that always came back to me is about the connection, how you help people build connection, how you help them to realize they can actually do more than what they can. I think that's the huge motivation of where I am now. So yeah, I would say no in the beginning, because I never know like what will happen in the after everything I did, and everything comes very natural once you align with what you did with your motivation, with your vision. I think that's something very powerful.
Yeah, I guess your fundamental drive of why you do and what you do, it remains the same, right? It's really helping people in the way that you agree with, right? If it's the approach that doesn't really speak to you, you don't really agree, then then you explore something else, right? And then it's also really making sure that the real connections and as you mentioned, that explorations, trying different things. I feel like, and I'm sure many of you who are, now listening to this episode from the Movers community, or at least you heard about Movers program. For me, while I'm listening to Yaqi's sharing, I feel like, before Movers program, she's also like growing and exploring her journey, like what we are trying to do in the Movers community. So I'm sure you also find a lot of points that is relatable to you from Yaqi's story. So if you are studying things that that you, or where you are, you can't really imagine your future right now, that's okay, because maybe Aggie's story is a good inspirations and good relatable points for you. So let's move on to and dig deeper into more areas of related to your choices of job and your current job. So maybe before that, we actually discuss about what is your job about right now. One step before that is that, you also mentioned that when you are exploring and there were some of the experience that really doesn't match with your expectations or your underlying values. So what happened then? Or if we turn that question around, like what matters to you the most when you are choosing what kind of job that you are, sign yourself up to?
That's a very good question. I think like one thing I was considering when I trying to plan out my career is the impact side, because I realized when my father's generation, their bottom line of finding a good job is a stable income, is a stable job. And then when I look at my generation, there's a lot of my peers, they're eagerly looking for opportunities. And I remember in China, at my maybe WeChat 10 years ago, there's not so much window for young people to looking for external exchange opportunities. And I remember I spent a lot of time just to research those opportunities. And it turned out that there's also a lot of organization doing that for young people, and I really appreciate that. Yeah, I think in the beginning, I was looking for a job that creating an impact, and why different youth events, organized activities that I put so much effort, because I realized there's an impact on young people, and they feel inspired, they feel feel more knowledge about what they can do to create a sustainable world. I think that's the main value I was holding on when I looking for opportunity or career opportunity in the beginning.
Right. So the main vision and mission of this job has to be aligned with your own personal vision and mission. And so then let's be more specific about the work that you are doing right now. So can you share a little bit what are you doing at your job, and then how does it connect with climate change?
So basically my job in the beginning was not very related to climate change. So basically we supporting young entrepreneurs across Asia-Pacific through an incubation platform, which is called Springboard Program under the Youth Collab regional project. And we supporting young people by mobilizing the resources we have at UNDP and our partners together to create resources and our learning materials that to help young social entrepreneurs to advance their business skills, to help them better articulate their business. So we have a team of dedicated startup support coordinators to support them in their journey. And so we do a lot of work on help young people bring exposure in the international platform, because we work with a lot of grassroots young people who didn't get much exposure from outside. They're doing a lot of underground amazing work, but there few people know about it. And we hope to amplify those empowering stories to inspire others, but also at the same time looking at the resources we have through UNDP and also partner organizations to collectively raising efforts on how to build their capacity, how to help them build a more robust business, and how to utilize the networks they have to help them advance. So it's really centered on youth social entrepreneurship, and how does it relate to climate change? Because I think from my point of view, I'm not a very expert in climate change, especially the science behind it. But the way I look at climate change is that it affects every aspect aspects of our life. No matter is energy, no matter is the future of the job market, the future of economy, the future of food, agricultural, the future of everything. So it is relates to the every aspect of our life. And when you look at climate change, it actually the economic activity that we're doing every day has a huge impact on the environment. So a lot of social entrepreneurs, they have their own business, they conduct business activity every day. So I think we're looking at how we can inspire them to look at their business impact on climate change, but also what they can do to support climate change agenda through their initiatives. So that's the relationship between my current job and climate change.
Right. Thank you so much. I think that's a very, very great explanation of what you are doing is through supporting young social entrepreneurs. And because as an entrepreneurs, right, they are initiating projects, they are making decisions, they are, looking for ways to grow their business. It's also a very future oriented kind of approach, right? And climate change is really about what is happening, understanding what's happening right now, and how our today's decision is going to impact on our future. So I'm sure that it's all, and as you said, right, like everything right now happen around us. There's no way to escape the framework of climate change, right? Everything is so connected. And then when you are sharing, so for some reason I just remember a quick question. So would you rather question, right? So the first choice, so basically choose between, would you rather achieve your personal ambitious dream or enable others to achieve their dreams? And I feel like the answer is already
I think it's
in
like
front of
both.
us.
It's not like completely two different things. I think you can empower others through the jobs that you're doing. I think that's why we have this green job conversation, because we all agree that there's a way for you to do meaningful job, but also create meaningful change. So it's like an integrated way for you to generate impact around you.
Right. So, okay, moving on. I have a few questions are also very, very practical. And I'm sure that's also the burning questions in a lot of listeners' head. So the first question is that what are some of the important skills and experience you think that are needed for this job?
I think, like, experience-wise, I realized when I look at my journey, there's a very coherent way of why I did what I did. And I think that the background of youth empowerment, youth engagement bring a lot of advantage when it comes to engage with young people. And the skills part, I think I did a lot of programs and different events, and the project management skills, I would say, and also the people management skills, teamwork, communication matters a lot when you want to do a big project. And also, in my current role, I think you need to understand the startup essentials, how to move an idea from a reality, and how to nurture a startup, what the resources they need, and what are the different aspects of growing startups is very helpful. And also understand the context of social entrepreneurship and the developing economies will give us also a better understanding of different environment those business operates in. So I think the field research, the different community I went to helps me understand a lot the diversity behind those initiatives. And I think that the experience is very precious because it always reminds me, lots of young people, they're very inspiring, and they actually came from a background that I never lived in, and I don't have the rights to judge them or to make the suggestions of what they need to do. So I think always holding a beginner mindset is something that I learned from my journey in the past, and it helps me a lot to understand the diversity of the young entrepreneurs we're supporting, and also, I think digital skills matters a lot when you want to work remotely, when you want to collaborate, especially during pandemic. I would say like the Microsoft Office set and anything that you can do on Google, and also I think in our team we love like using different platforms to build to help us perform our tasks more efficiently. I think for me, I love Airtable, and my colleague Ding Long, who loves Zapier, which is an automation platform, and their tagline is "Make your life happier." So I think we're also looking at different ways to, how to do our work more efficiently using the digital skills. I think that's the main skills that I will share with young people.
All right. Thank you so much, Yaqi, for sharing your skills and experiences. I think if I can just to summarize into a few points, the first one is actions through volunteerism. Taking actions through volunteerism, explore different opportunities. The second one is more about attitude, being empathetic with other people, be open-minded. And then the third one is really, dig deeper into the areas that you are interested to go into. Like in your case, it's about entrepreneurship, right? Really understand the process of entrepreneurship. And for many of you who are listening, if you're interested into climate change, then, it's also for you in your case, then, dig deeper into the knowledge, the framework, and everything about climate change. And then the last point is about, learning different digital skills, digital platform. And I guess it's really about, a fast learner and really try to understand what are some of the new tools that can really help us to support our work, to be productive, to try innovative things that can actually, show our values to different projects, to different teammates. So and then the next a very practical questions for you. So just now the skills and experience was the first one. The next question is a very practical question is like, what would be your advice to listeners that who wants to work on this job?
I think for green jobs overall, it's become very trendy right now. But I think in maybe 10 years back, it's not a thing. It's people, if you talk about impact for jobs or green jobs, people will say like they have no idea what they're doing. And I think the idea of green jobs become more accepted these days, and which is a good thing. And I think to start, for anyone who want to involved to be part of this journey, I think the first thing what I learned is don't worry about what you study in the university. And I think nowadays a lot of people changing jobs between different jobs and in a very short period of time. But if you look at our generation, older generation, like my dad's generation, they probably take on the same job for their whole life. So I think there's a trend of today, like people keep changing jobs because they want to learn different things. So never let your degree, what you learn in university, to limit your imagination of what you can do. I think that's first one. And the second is be proactive, and also to be prepared that to learn on the job, do not set very high expectation of what makes a perfect job. Once you start, I think in the beginning, even if you don't have the perfect skill sets to perform the job, always to know that learning by doing is always the best teacher. And proactiveness. By proactiveness, I mean that you need to be more outspoken of what you want to explore, and to let people know that the things that you want to do, and the people around your support system, that they can vouch for you, they can help your vision become reality. And the last one is be hard work plus start with curiosity. I think a lot of things in the youth empowerment world, we always mention one thing, which is passion. And it's actually, passion is something that in the beginning is something you will find after you're doing lots of different things. And starting with curiosity, I think, gives you the permission to explore what you like, and how you can align your inner compass with actually a job that you can do in real life. Because these days, lots of young people get upset. We all know that during pandemic, young people quitting jobs. And if there's a misalignment between your inner compass and the actual job, actually you will become very unhappy. So I think the approach of, being curious and exploring things and doing your hard work. I know there's a lot of self-help books or tips on how to help you be more productive, how to help you to do more job using less time. But I think still, if you want to cultivate a journey, if you want to really be good at what you're doing, you have to willing to put efforts and time in it. So I will stress the importance of hard work to young people in the beginning. And yeah, that's my 3 suggestions, advice to young people.
Right. Wow. Those are really, really fantastic tips. I wish, when I was 18, I can listen to the advice from Yaqi. Right, because the world is changing so fast, right? There is no point of dwell in what did we decide in the past, but really think about our is similar to our thinking on climate change, right? Our decision today will make an impact for our future tomorrow. So, and then the last practical questions for you, Yaqi, is how do you see your future in this career path? How do you evolve?
I think still there's a lot of uncertainty. When I think about how I envision my future self, at this point, I think looking back my journey in the first 2 or 3 years at a job is really about learn how to go to work and get the job done. I think that's like when you fresh graduate from school and you have no very formal job experience. That's the first 2 things you can do well. And I think I also spent first 2 or 3 years just accumulating the skills and knowledge that I need to do my job well. So there's a lot of learning process. There's a lot of exploration in the journey. And moving forward, I think based on what I did so far, learning how to perform a job well, how to do a good job, and I'm more confident exploring different other areas that can be an extension of what I'm doing right now. So like I mentioned before, I work with an amazing team on the Youth Collab Springboard program. And 2 things I'm really excited is the Springboard for Climate program, which is still we are thinking about how to inspire more climate entrepreneurs in the region, but also supporting young entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs to embed it green business strategy in their projects. I think in the UN context, we stress a lot on the social impact side of the business. And a lot of young people, when they enter the program, they know that, I have to there's an impact component in the business that they can implement in the real world. But also I envision in the future, every entrepreneur will talk about climate change. Every entrepreneur will think about, the climate impact of their business. So that's one thing I feel very excited. And the other thing is we in the program engage with a lot of young entrepreneurs from grassroots community, marginalized community. So also looking at how we can expand our effort, engage more marginalized groups such as indigenous people, people with a disability, and LGBTI group, people on the move. There's a lot of groups that I would say previously are ignored or they feel unseen in the society. And we're also looking at how we can reach to those groups to support them through meaningful youth engagement. So that's how I envision my career in the future. And yeah.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you for not just sharing about your personal perspective, but also sharing the project, the Springboard program that you are involved with, the future of it, going deeper into the area of entrepreneurship plus climate change, and also extended a more deeper engagement with non-mainstream groups. And so we're coming to the end of this interview. So before we wrap up and end our conversation, I really want to invite you to share if there is anything else that you want to share with the audience here.
I really like this topic about green jobs because I feel like there's a lot of young people actually out in the world doing amazing stuff, but there's not a very holistic, recognized groups or a system to actually support them. So I think to bring this topic out is a very good way to vouch for those people, but also to help it become a mainstream, because I believe that the more people we talk about, the more we talk about impactful jobs or green jobs, the more people will take action to do what they really want to do. And I think there's no easy way for you to achieve that. It's all about experiment. It's all about learning on the journey. And the more experiment you do, the less fear you have in your future, and the more self-efficiency, self-agency you will see among yourself to do different things that can impact the world positively.
Thank you so much, Yaqi, for joining the interview, and thank you so much for this really inspiring and profound conversation. So what would be your takeaway from this conversation? Write down at the comment section at whatever channels you're listening to this interview, and we look forward to see and hear your sharings. So thank you so much. Bye.